on CuriosityStream. He allows them their riches
Putin has to be the richest of the rich.
in exchange for their loyalty.
The oligarchs have supported someone for president that they underestimate.
The illicit affair between Russia's elite and the man who rules them on Putin and the oligarchs. And World War II Normandy. An obscure battle training session takes a tragic turn. Uncover the one secret military catastrophe on the secret D-Day disaster. Watch now on CuriosityStream. Annual plans are $20, just $1.67 a month. Visit CuriosityStream.com.
$20 million, $19 million, $6 million. These are all awards recovered for clients of Phillips Law Firm. To win big, you have to fight big. And Phillips Law has been fighting the too-big-to-fail insurance industry for decades. Not every case will have a multi-million-dollar outcome, but Phillips Law will fight just as hard to recover the outcome you deserve. If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident or on the job, call or click today at 1-800-JUSTICE or visit justiceforyou.com.
What's up? It's your boy, The Ted Smith. Thanks for listening to the Men's Room Daily Podcast. Want more? Check out the greatest podcast in all the land, The Podcast. Be sure to subscribe and listen to a brand new episode every Tuesday night.
Back to the conversation. This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. 99.9 KISW.
This one didn't work out very well. I know it's a little hot for soup, but an Iraqi chef tragically died last week after falling into a vat of soup he was making, which left him severely scalded across large swaths of his body. The horrific accident occurred on June 15th while the man was helping prepare a wedding banquet at a hall. And while stirring the soup, the 25-year-old father of three reportedly slipped and fell into the pot before tumbling to the floor. He was immediately rushed to a local hospital where medics spent several days trying to save his life. However, he died 5 days later after succumbing to third-degree burns that covered almost 70% of his body. So he died by soup. Our question, I never thought I would get hurt or sick doing blank, 206-421-ROCK.
I don't know this to be true, but my money says they serve that soup anyway. That day at the reception, like, they don't know, don't tell them, serve it.
Maybe.
Man, just my experience in business, I'm confident they still...
Where's the guy that made it?
Don't worry about it. Compliments to the chef. We'll let him know. Hello, Steve. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Hola.
Hola.
All right. So I've been a contractor for a number of years. I actually just got out of it because of the damage that has been done to my body over the years. But the quick story I got, I was helping a friend of mine on his job remove some fence posts so we can put in some new ones. Well, these fence posts were the steel ones, stick out 10 feet above the ground, 2 feet under, and they're as big around as a softball. So these things easily weigh 100 pounds with all the concrete on them.
What are they packed into, Quickcrete?
No, this is the old concrete. These things were put in like 20 years ago.
Okay.
So, anyways, so we're working, and it starts raining, starts getting dark, and we're like, all right, well, we've only got 4 left, so let's just get it. So we get these undug, and we pull them all out. We get down to the last 2 or 3, and we go to pull this one out, and my buddy slips. He goes backwards, still holding on to this pole for dear life. Well, my legs are locked, and I don't move. Well, my feet don't. My back does. Yeah.
Which way did it pull you?
I dislocated a rib.
Oh, I didn't know that could happen. I mean, I know you could crack them and break them. I didn't know you could dislocate the thing.
Oh, it can, and I'll tell you what, there is nothing in the world that hurts that much for a man.
Yeah, you can't sneeze, you can't cough, you can't laugh at anything, you can't roll over at night on your side. I mean, there's all kinds of things, like you can't watch comedies. Right. No, I mean, that's serious.
You can't breathe.
There's these weird things you're not able to do.
And so when you watch, like, documentaries?
Well, in the middle of the night, you roll over, man. You're like, and you forget because you're asleep, right. You know? Then you'll see something that makes you laugh, and then, or you sneeze, or what. I mean, it's one thing after another.
Well, where I dislocated mine was about 2 ribs down from the bottom of my left shoulder blade. So every breath felt like somebody was taking an ice-cold spoon and sticking it into my lung.
Ah, Jesus. And how long before that goes away? Because like you said, there's nothing they can do about it.
You can't do anything about it. Yeah.
It doesn't go away. You have to go to a chiropractor and get them to put it back. And I had to wait a week before my next chiropractor visit because he was booked.
So what about now? Is there any, are you ever reminded that you messed it up?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Not too long ago, about a year ago, I blew a disc because my muscles in my back spasmed where I dislocated my rib.
Yeah.
And it caused me to twist while I was holding the sheet of green board.
I was going to say, you're pretty flexible if you can blow a disc.
You are as funny as you look.
Yeah.
So who is a disc? Never met this guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Sneezing is one of those things, man.
Oh, you can crack a rib.
But the older you get, the more frequency it happens. I pulled a muscle in my back because I was sitting on the toilet and I sneezed. And in my mind, it's just a regular sneeze. In fact, the sneeze itself was a regular sneeze. But for whatever reason, in that moment, pulled the muscle in my back. Then I'm trapped on the toilet. And this is stupid. Like, I'm sitting on the toilet. I realize I can't get up from the toilet. I'm like, oh, boy, I hate to do this. Hey, babe, I need your help in the bathroom. And it's like, what's wrong? She assumes I need toilet paper. I'm like, I actually physically need help off of the toilet seat. It's like, what'd you do? I'm like, I sneezed. I pulled this muscle, but because I'm sitting down, that's the position I'm kind of locked into, man. And you're irritated. It hurts. You can eventually stretch it out, but it is so frustrating. Like, I am stuck sitting on a toilet because I sneeze. Who was the baseball player broke, like 4 ribs sneezing? Was it like 2 or 3 seasons ago? Remember?
There's always
a pitcher or something. Like, literally, the dude sneezed. I want to say the day before the game he was going to start. And he broke 4 ribs.
No sport has more embarrassing accidents happen to people off the field than baseball. As dangerous as that sport could potentially be, as far as a ball coming at you on a line drive, 130 miles an hour, or taking a 99er off the head or whatever, like, it always seems like it's always some guy that's
fell out of a tree,
slips on his deck, you know what I mean, or some crap, and he's like,
just something goofy.
Right, exactly. It's always a baseball player, though.
Well, and baseball players, too, because they got to use their hands so much. But even, like, for normal people, like, I don't know, you do stuff to your fingers or cut them all the time, but for, like, baseball players, now they're out.
You need, all 10 digits there. I never thought I would get hurt or sick doing blank. 206-421-ROCK.
Hello, Daniel. Welcome to the men's room.
Liquor and whores.
Liquor and whores.
So I fell in a fire.
You fell in a what?
In a fire.
Oh, well, that'll do it. What was the circumstance?
Camping and drinking.
Aha.
And face first, or did you fall back into it?
The front of my body first. It was, I ended up, I was like collapsed, because I was drinking so much, and, I just fell forward into the fire. The majority of it was on my left arm, the top of my arm, shoulder, and my neck, the left side of my neck. I got a little bit on my lips, the side of my lips, and my nose, and my cheek on the left side.
So you face planted, basically.
Yeah.
How bad is that? Like, is there permanent scarring from this?
I don't know yet. It just happened last August, and I definitely still have some discoloration and sensitivity, but not very noticeable.
What were you drinking that day?
Jameson, same thing I'm drinking now.
Okay, I was going to say, did that steer you clear of that, but I guess not.
No, it just avoids fires.
Now I got a gas stove.
So, did you get yourself out of the fire, or did your buddies rip you out of there?
Oh, no, they ripped me out. I was, so it was like one of those fire pits out at Lake Fishman. It was a private property, and it was one of those with like bricks around it, and I was able to stay conscious enough to spread eagle on my arms and hold myself up, but I did bounce and hit the actual fire, like the wood and everything, but I was able to hold myself up a little bit, and probably 5-10 seconds maybe, I don't know exactly, but they were able to pull me up after that, because they were like there.
Dude, 5 or 10 seconds in a fire is a long time.
Since you're out in the middle of nowhere, what's closest hospital?
Hospital. So it was in the middle of the night, and we were all drinking. There was no reception. We all just stuck it out. They did whatever first aid they could on me. The next day is when it really looked bad. We decided to go fishing on my friend's boat before we left.
How bad did it look?
Ordeal.
Did you catch any fish? I guess you didn't have to worry about getting sunburned at that point.
We didn't catch any fish, but the only reason is because the battery kept dying on the boat. Turns out it was the alternator, but we kept trying and trying. We got towed a few times. We got jumped a few times, but we ended up giving up.
Did anyone say,
After,
"Hey, what's up with the burnt casualty on the boat we're jumping"?
Or are they trying to be nice and not mention it?
I definitely got looks. We'll just say that.
How much different does it look when it's fresh? Like, we've all met or seen a burn victim, but it is understood that this is something that happened some time ago. But I don't know if I could look at someone and tell, like, hey, man, this looks like it happened within the last 24 hours. You might want to get that checked.
Yeah, it definitely looked like I was cooked. I definitely should have gone to the hospital right away. I could send you pictures if you want. I was all crispy and burnt up, singed hairs. I couldn't shave on the left side of my neck for a little bit. Actually, when I was at the hospital, they had to shave a little bit of it to actually tend to the wound. And when I was at the hospital, they said it was about the majority of it was second-degree burns. There was a couple tiny spots they thought were third degree. Turns out it was fine. They were talking about skin grafts. Didn't have to have any of that, so that was good.
Damn. Yeah, send the pictures, dude.
Yeah, and it's been a year.
I want to see what you look like on that warm August night.
Never thought I'd get hurt or sick doing blank. 206-421-ROCK.
You ever fallen into a fire?
No.
Or been on fire? I know you were on fire a little bit.
Fire,
your shoe on fire, but...
Yeah. My leg caught on fire that one day.
Is that the same day?
Yeah, when I was just messing around and...
Oh, yeah.
Poof, just went up.
Yeah, I mean...
I've been burned, but it's never been open flame. You know what I mean? Just working
I think I burned myself with a lighter more than I have, like, touching something.
You're probably right. Especially back in the days of flaming drinks and all that kind of crap, man. Hello, Cody. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola, gentlemen.
Hola.
Hey, guys. So, I called in today to talk about my best and worst mushroom taking off, but it didn't. And about halfway through, we started having a really good time, and just, frolicking through the forest, and super, super good. It was a really hot day. We didn't bring any supplies that day, and my friend looked at me about halfway through, and he goes, man, you don't look good at all. And I was like, what are you talking about? And he's like, you look really hot. You look like you need some water. And I don't know if you've ever been on mushrooms and had someone tell you that you look like you're dying, but it has pretty adverse effects. And we started hightailing it, got out to his car, and we actually had a park ranger try and stop us, and he hit the car next to us trying to stop us. And he's like, just get out of here. So, I went and got some water and felt a whole lot better. But it was a really stupid idea, that's for sure. And I'd definitely say go prepared, all you mushroom folk. Hot weather.
Anybody who's out hiking around should have enough water on them to be sustainable. You know what I mean? You need...
But mushrooms don't help. I've never had that experience on mushrooms. Then again, anytime I've been doing much, I hate to say this, recently it's probably been a station event, so I always have access to bottles of water. If we're doing and so the way the bosses, the way that used to be, they expected full responsibility, which is not out of the realm of expectation to your employees. Hey, we're doing this event, typically, massive concert, whatever it is. So don't get messed up. Well, we always got messed up. We would get pissed drunk, or we'd show up hammered. Everyone got high, and who knew what was on what? I mean, for years, right? And we never really got, reprimanded. So they dialed it back, and I always appreciated this. Hair Club used to say, look, try not to get too effed up until, and he'd go through everyone's itinerary. So, men's room in particular, your last stage announcement is at 5. I don't even care if you get messed up. Don't be effed up. And then at 5 o'clock, whatever you want to do after that, I don't care. And I thought that worked out fine.
Yeah.
So you could be tripping, you could be drunk. He's like, I don't care and I don't want to know. Just keep it together. Do what you got to do.
So that means we could do this at 4 and then hopefully...
Oh, yeah. By the time it hits.
Yeah, we'll be right there.
Oh, yeah.
Never thought I would get hurt or sick doing blank. 206-421-ROCK.
Hello, Steven. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola, bitches.
Hola.
All right, here we go. So, as a seasoned skateboarder, I didn't anticipate getting hurt. So we're doing these little launch outs. Like, if you can picture a quarter pipe, right? Where we're hitting our skateboards and we're just launching out, trying to get as much air as we possibly can.
Sure.
Well, then it becomes a competition, right? So we start getting the trash cans. I'm not too good at this, right? So, those trash cans like at the park? There's metal regular trash cans, and so we kept them upside down thinking that we won't fall inside if we don't make it.
All right.
Well, both legs make it around, but my balls caught the lip of that trash can in between my thigh and the metal lip of the trash can. Yeah, that was so painful, and then having to drive a manual transmission car home.
It does sound like your voice went up an octave.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Definitely
at the time of the accident. Oh, you're calling like this.
Did everybody stop skating at that point?
Yes, they did.
Yeah.
It was you heard the ooh across the skate park.
I can't even imagine dropping into a pipe or a bowl like that. You know, it just looks like you guys are going straight down. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And I could never think that I could just drop straight down with my face going first.
Well, it depends. How old were you when you first started giving it? Because at my age now, I'm like, no thanks. But if I'm 8, like, hell yeah.
Skate. I'm almost 40. I still skate.
And is there ever a time where you think to yourself, man, maybe I shouldn't be doing this?
You know, no. I still love it. Every single time I get on a skateboard, it is amazing.
I see guys in longboards all the time coming down Fremont Avenue. That's a pretty good clip, man. And they are humming.
But they're a buddy of mine, man. He has a longboard. He's about 40 years old. And, man, he's coming to my house to pick up something. I can't remember what it was. Maybe lives a mile and a half away, but between our houses, like the direct middle point is the bottom of a massive hill. So you fly down his hill to get to the middle point and have to go uphill to get to mine or vice versa. And I thought he was going to drive over, which is his norm, right? And I'm outside smoking, talking to my wife, and we hear something in the driveway. He comes flying up in the longboard. He's got his big-ass dog with him. The dog's hauling ass, right? He's got the big leash, rolls up. Man, he's a real calm dude. And I'm like, Andrew, did you longboard all the way here? He's like, dude, it was awesome. I'm like, what about the hill? Like, what about it?
Bombed it.
It's not, he did. And to me, it's not about navigating the hill. I have confidence there, but you're talking a very major intersection where you need to come to a stop. I don't know how he did it.
Well, the longer the board is, the faster
he
they go,
does.
too. So, like, you're hauling through there.
Well, I think, too, it's just a matter of doing it all the time.
He does.
So I'm with you, Miles. Like, the idea of dropping into an empty pool or something seems frightening. But I would also say, like, there's certain things you might do on skis or a snowboard that seem okay, and then you, like, when you see it in the summertime, you're like, what the hell was I doing?
That's a good point. Yeah, you look at a ski slope in the summer, like, oh my God!
Well, you don't realize also too that the bushes are like 6 feet high,
Right.
And there's trees and all this stuff.
And you're going over top
Yeah,
of
you
them.
know, the snowpack is 10, 15 feet, and underneath there, man, it's trees, bushes, streams.
No idea.
You know, you never see them, but until it starts to melt, you're like, oh my God, I'm basically skiing on top of a forest. I never thought I'd get hurt or sick doing blank. 206-421-ROCK.
New on Curiosity Stream, she was a loving wife, a devoted mother. She also stole atomic secrets and gave them to the Soviets. Meet the woman whose deception kick-started the Cold War on the spy who stole the atom bomb. And
what if they catch you?
Then I shall be shot.
They're coming! Come back!
relive history's most death-defying escapes. It's Impossible Escapes, Civil War. Watch now on Curiosity Stream. Annual plans are $20, just $1.67 a month. Visit CuriosityStream.com.
Hey, all the Macholas, thank you so much for listening to the Men's Room Podcast.
And thanks to our pals at the Advocates Law Firm for being great partners. Yes, even you, creepy Kyle.
Seriously, though, if you'd been injured as a result of somebody else in your car, on your bike, walking across the street, talk to our friends at the Advocates Law Firm and let them help you out.
Yeah, they're the best injury lawyers around, and they want to make sure that you're not taken advantage of. Plus, your first consultation is free.
It's simple. You get injured, the advocates get results. Contact them today at advocateslaw.com.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. As we continue to listen, learn, and grow, we are amplifying Black voices and perspectives in an effort to start a new COVID-19 vaccine conversation. We're sharing stories intended to help us navigate this unprecedented time together and to co-create solutions in support of the Black community. Hear these stories at weconsiderwa.org.
99.9 KISW. The men's room is in progress.
Our question, Men's Room blank style. I never thought I'd get hurt or sick doing blank. 206-421-ROCK.
Hello, Charlie. Welcome to the men's room.
Liquor and whores.
Liquor and whores.
So if you gentlemen like dark humor, this bud is for you.
All right.
So about 6 years ago, my grandfather passed from heart failure. So I took 3 weeks leave when I was on active duty, went home. My younger brother, he shows up. We have the service, and we're getting ready to do the reception and everything afterwards before we go out into the other part of town to do the actual burial service. And my brother's like, hey, man, where's the liquor store at? I'm like, dude, I haven't lived here in a while, so you're just going to have to ask somebody else. About that time, one of my grandfather's friends comes down the stairs. He's like, hey, there's a brown jug, like half a block that way. My younger brother books it, takes off, and he comes back with one of them little back pocket flasks of wild turkey. He's been sipping on that for a while. We get back out to the graveyard to do the funeral service, and my younger brother is the middle pallbearer on the side that myself and my uncle are on. We're maneuvering the casket around the hole, and my younger brother steps into the grave and drops the casket on his leg.
Oh, no.
So...
Granddad's laughing his ass off in there.
Yeah, well, my grandpa was a recovering alcoholic when he passed, but he always had a good time when he was drinking. So my uncle, like, the bottom part of the casket, like, skins his shin. I was the only one that managed to hold on to my side of it. I grabbed my brother's collar. My uncle grabs my brother by the belt, and we pick him up, stand him back down on the ground, and put his hand on there. It's like, you good, man? You got it? He's like, yeah. He's like, that, ow. But no, I'm good. Go on with the rest of the service, and when we get ready to go leave, I see my brother walk into the truck, and he's limping on that one side real bad, and I'm like, hey, man, you okay? He's like, no, I need to go. I need to go to the clinic. We got to go. So I take him to the clinic, and he ended up with like a slight tear, like in the ACL or whatever on that side
of his knee. So it buckled his knee in.
Yeah, because he stepped with his left leg. It went down into the grave, and when he was trying to catch himself, he put one arm down, and the casket slipped out of the other side, and it landed right on the knee joint.
Okay, I got two questions for you regarding this. So,
okay,
the first one is, having never been a pallbearer, carrying dead weight, quite literally, is carrying dead weight. But once you put them inside of a casket, how much do you estimate that whole thing weighs?
Well, my grandfather was, I want to say 260 or 270 when he died.
God. So are you like going through this in your head, like, all right, man, when we put everything and get this goddamn thing up?
Yeah, well, I mean, like, the casket itself probably weighed 300 or 400 pounds.
Right. Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
They say you lose about 25 to 50 pounds when they do the embalming / preserving process. So let's be generous and say that my grandfather's material form weighed about 225. Casket's probably 350. So you're looking at probably about 600 pounds spread evenly between 6 people.
And he dropped that on his knee. Mm-hmm. Then the other question is, when this happens, do people laugh out loud?
No. No. Unfortunately, I did for the first 2 or 3 seconds, and then I had to kind of like choke everything back.
Did you choke it back because everyone else is still being serious about this?
Yeah, pretty much. Because like I've laughed maniacally at things in life that people shouldn't laugh about, and I didn't have any problem laughing about that.
Yeah, but I'm sorry.
If my grandfather had been alive and he'd seen something like that, he would have died laughing right there.
Well, yeah, because it's funny. I understand it's a heavy moment, but like, that's goddamn funny, man.
I've dude, in New Jersey, this is no lie. When my first wife's grandfather passed on, all right. So it's a pretty big cemetery in New Jersey. All right. This ceremony is awful. First of all, it's just dark. It's just one of those things.
Sure,
right?
sure.
And I've never really been through that, and I was one of the pallbearers and all that stuff. So there are there's 2 dudes or maybe 3 guys who are off underneath a tree. They all have shovels and stuff.
Oh, yeah, the grave diggers.
Yeah, but they're waiting. You know what I mean? Like until they get our stuff done. And they're going to come in and finish this. But they're also working on something else, all right? So this is just the most somber. Her grandmother is crying.
Of course.
And she's upset. And it's an ugly situation, okay? So about 50 to 60 yards away, there's one of these little bobcats. Now the bobcat has got like a front end loader on one side, like a little mini mini whatever
bulldozer thing. Sure.
Yeah, a little bulldozer thing, and in the back it's got like more of a fork, like it comes down and
the big scoop thing.
Digs, right? Exactly. Okay, so this bobcat it's sitting and digging this grave, and you see like the big scooper thing going down and doing its thing, and all I see is this giant cloud. I did not see it happen. And those dudes who are holding the shovels, they go flying past and running over the hole. And then you look up, and the bobcat is in the grave. Oh, it's sticking out of the grave. And like the dude, once the dust clears, like they're trying to pick their buddy up, and they jump down in the hole, man. This is in the middle of a ceremony. Like, this rabbi is not stopping.
Right.
You know what I mean? He's still doing his thing, but these three dudes just tear off running towards this hole, man. The bobcat went all the way in. I was like, oh my God. Like, right. It was like, oh my God. It was so hard not to laugh. Because you're sitting there, and I'm like, elbow. Like, look at that. It kind of broke the ice. You know, in a weird way.
Did people ease up?
Oh my God! I
Because
mean,
you need everyone.
The problem was
it's one thing if
everybody.
You think something's funny. It's important that everybody.
At this age, everybody that was a friend and still alive is The Walking Dead. So
right.
Nobody has picked up on this going on because they probably can't see 5 feet in front of them. You know what I'm saying? Like it was just. I mean, they were old people. But I mean, I'll never forget that bobcat. Like I did not see it go in. You could see because you have like they have these little arms that they put down. They kind of anchor
stabilize it.
Yeah, and it kind of just worked like as like I don't know, like a seesaw. Or like, just I mean, it went, there's this big puff of dirt, man. He was kind of like in a little cage.
Yeah.
You know, in that thing. So they go down there and you see him kind of open up the cage or whatever. And they're jumping down there and he crawled out. And now he's walking around with his hands on his hips.
So now you're distracted watching them.
I can't stop watching. You know, like, I can't stop watching. It was just like, it was too much.
Gravediggers, look, and if something goes wrong, do what you got to do. And I know it's a day-to-day business for them. But, like, look, man, when people are having a funeral, even if you don't care, it's just a point.
Yeah,
but there were guys.
They were across the road. It was like a little, it's like a mini like backhoe kind of thing. You know what I mean? It wasn't like the full-size one. It was just like, one for the cemetery. But
no, we had guys whistling.
It was gone.
They were whistling at my grandmother's wedding. They're doing it absently. They're literally just waiting for us to leave so I can start throwing the dirt on, right? So we're going through the ceremony, and long-winded thing as always. And like I heard them whistling, it just never really registered, right? And I could see my father, his body language. You could tell he was getting mad about something. And my brother and I cannot piece this together. And finally, he turns around and just goes, hey, the funeral shuts up for a second. And this guy, and they make this eye contact. And it was understood what the message. And then the guy was quiet the rest of the time. But like he was pissed about that for hours.
But you got to remember, people who whistle don't even realize they're doing it.
I was like, and he's a whistler. My father's one of these people, man. So if he's in a good mood, he's whistling. He does not realize he's doing it. The problem is he'd wake up at like 2:30 in the morning, couldn't sleep, and like hop on the computer, and everyone in the house is up and like, oh, what are you guys doing now? I'm like, because you won't shut up. You've been whistling. It's like, was I? We're like, yes. He's like, sorry. Maybe 30 minutes goes by, the whistling's back, and he whistles loud, man. And I don't know what it is about whistling. Like, if people are humming to themselves, they hum a song you've probably heard of, right? You go, okay, I get it. It's stuck in your head. When people whistle, they just make songs up.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
100%.
No one whistles the Andy Griffith theme. Like, they just whistle what comes to mind. And it's in those moments. I remember, most people are not musicians, I can tell, because this song is terrible.
Have you ever been around on the whistling tip, the people who don't know, they're the humming eaters?
Yes. My uncle's like that, man.
Yeah, I whistle. I'm not a hummer.
I'd be like, Mom, you realize that you have been humming some kind of tune through this entire meal when you eat with food in your mouth.
Right, that's it.
Not during the breaks. Just like put the food, chewing out. I'm like, it's not that good, Mom.
You've never made anything so good.
It's almost like she's humming a tune in her
right.
Head. You know what I mean? It's like,
the one that gets me is my mom. Every time I talk to her, I go, what are you eating? Every time, without fail. How'd you know I was eating something? Because I can hear you opening the package and you're chewing on the phone. You know what? I'll take it out. I'm just like, I know it's a weird habit. You get up and like, I'm a pacer too, like when I'm on the phone, but I'm like, just please. We talk a few times a week. Just when I'm on the phone with you, can you not put something in your mouth and start eating?
Right.
Yeah.
Teddy's on the phone. Get me a granola bar.
I know. Never thought I'd get hurt or sick doing blank. 206-421-ROCK.
Hello, Jordan. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Hola.
So I dislocated my knee while picking magic mushrooms.
Okay.
How did you dislocate your knee, man?
So on the way to the field, I met up with some buddies,
And they're like, my buddy goes, hey, man, if you see anybody driving through the field, running hot. Like, okay. So we get there, we're picking mushrooms, and the grass was pretty tall, so I look up over the grass, and here comes this truck bombing for us. So we take off running, and I dive into some bushes. And during my dive, I dislocated my knee. So I'm sitting in the bush with this knee. I set my knee, and I look up to see if I need to keep running, and the truck stops right in front of me. The door opens, and my buddy's dad climbs out and starts picking mushrooms.
Oh, my God. Yeah, man, that's setting the knee. It's like putting in the last corner of the Tupperware lid. It's like this. It's this definitive pop. You know what I mean? And you know, like you keep pushing and pushing and pushing, and it hurts like hell. And then as soon as it sets, though, the pain kind of goes away, and you're like, okay, am I okay? Like, it doesn't seem like it's
right. It shouldn't be that easy.
It shouldn't be that easy to fix it. It's still, there's still a dullness and a soreness afterwards. But it's just this.
Yeah, it hurt pretty bad.
You got to snap it over this one point. And then once you get it over that point, you kind of feel the whole thing reset.
Yeah.
Oh, it sucks, though. That is the worst feeling to know you got to straighten your leg out. Because you know you got to get past the point and it goes pop, and you're like, oh, God. Oh, I hate that.
Hey, man, did your dad's father know you guys were there? And did you know that he was into shrooms?
I didn't know he was into shrooms. He knew we were out there. But yeah, we just kept picking with him, I guess.
All right. Mm-hmm. That's pretty cool. Normally, I would be like, oh, dude, your dad's here. But he's like, pick more. I'm like, all right.
Yep. Never thought that I would get hurt or sick doing blank. 206-421-ROCK.
Hello, Oz. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Hola.
All right, well, I wanted to continue the fire theme. So I'm in cooking school, and we're making a dinner for some guests. And I decided I didn't decide. My chef decided to give me a dish that I'd never made before, so I'm okay. So I'm cooking my dish. I step away from the stove for a little bit. I come back, and it's one of these gigantic 8-burner gas stoves.
Yeah.
They're huge. So I look up, and I'm kind of doing other things. I look up, and I see one of the other students walk over to my dish with a thing of salt. And I reach over right before she, like, puts the salt into my stuff, and I push her, like, kind of just push her hands out of the way. And I'm like, don't put anything in there, don't touch it. And everyone just kind of stared at me for a second. I'm like, what? I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. Like, I didn't hurt her.
Right.
And then I look down, and my chef coat is just engulfed in flames.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So, and in my mind, I'm like, because I'm not burning. These are, they're double-breasted. So, the outer layer is on fire. In my mind, I'm like, I'm on fire. So I pick up one of the tops of the pot that was on the stove, and I, like, smacked my chest a few times, and I put it out. Well, apparently, I didn't just say that in my head. I said that out loud. So everyone, like, runs into the kitchen, and I'm, like, smoldering, and there's smoke everywhere. And yeah, that was a fun experience. But I didn't ruin my dish.
Did you continue to cook after that?
Oh yeah, we finished the service. Everyone loved it.
I mean as a job for a little while.
What was that?
As a job.
Oh yeah, well I did for a while, and then I'm actually in the medical field now. So
and that's why you guys wear those kung fu pants and everything. Just in case you need to rip it off.
Fire. More than being on fire. 'Cause chances are, if you're going to burst into flames, like you said, man, it's going to be your upper part because you're dealing with flames and all that. But if there's grease spills or anything like that, believe it or not, those kung fu pants come in real handy. The idea is, one, they're not really touching your skin. That goes because you don't care if you burn your pants, you care if you burn your legs. And grease fires are like the worst fire you can have. So as far as your skin goes, so the idea is if something hot or flaming hits your pants, you can rip them away. And it doesn't happen much, but on occasion, if it's super busy, so the busier it gets, the more reckless you get. Not because you choose to be, but time's money, right? And you're on maybe not in Seattle so much, but in places where they like to put your full meal up at the same time, when you coordinate that stuff. I mean, just a lot goes into it, but guys will be on fire, and so you don't really notice it, but you look down the line after you put up table so-and-so, and, like, dude's pants are pulled down like he's in the hood. You know what I mean? Like, down by his knees, like, what did you do? Like, I was burning myself. You go, cool, but your pants cool off pretty quick. So you rip them down, you let it cool off, you pull them back up.
Didn't you tell me that somebody called you a karate man in Baltimore?
It was, I can't say the exact quote, The thing about Baltimore is this: it does not matter if it's a perfect stranger. It does not matter if you've ever seen them. It does not matter if you're familiar. If somebody has something to say to you, it's not always derogative, but if they have something to say, they say it, and they prefer to have an audience. But I'd have my chef's pants on. They were black, all right? Then I had the chef's coat on, which are white. Under my arm, I had a bunch of knives. They're not exposed. They're wrapped up in like a knife case. But I'm walking to work, and this dude's at the bus stop, and he jumps up, right? It's this old black dude. He jumps up and gets in like the Karate Kid, like crane pose, and go, "This inbound knows kung fu." I was like, "What?" He's like, "Your uniform, man." And he's still like bouncing on the one button. He's all impressed.
Yeah.
You know, that he's got a karate master. I'm like, "Brother, I cook." But he's not here. He's like, "Karate man. Good on you."
Kung fu. I never thought I would get hurt or sick doing blank. 206-4200.
Hello, Joe. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola. Yeah, my story kind of begins when I was in the Army. My oldest daughter, she was 17, got stoned, came home about dinner time, and my wife was sitting at the table, and the timer goes off, and she asked my daughter to go grab the enchiladas out of the oven.
All right.
Without even a think, she just pulled down opened up the oven, reached in with her bare hands, grabbed a hold of the pan, brought it up, set it on top of the oven, on top of the stove, and goes, "Ow!" And I looked at her like she was nuts because I was doing the dishes at the time. Looked straight at her, and I said, "Let me see your eyes." And she just looked at me and she goes, "I know, I'm grounded," and walked off.
That's amazing that you reached in there and pulled that out of there like that.
Because they're high.
It's a glass casserole dish. It's, 435 degrees or whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, sometimes, too, you just brain fart. Like I told you I did with my Pyrex pan years ago. Like, I know better, but I pulled it out. I pulled the pork tenderloin out, and then just, for some reason, went, I'll just wash this right now.
Cold water, grabbed it.
Cold water. And as soon as the water got in there, I was like, I got to back away from this. So it broke, but it didn't, explode, thankfully.
Right.
But, I'm just sitting there like, what in the hell was I just thinking?
I did the same thing with the bong. Hot water to get the resin out of it.
Right.
You know
yeah.
what I mean? To get all the crap out. Then, I'll just wash this out with cold water. Boom.
Yeah. Just
blew up in my hand. I'm like, you dummy.
Right. That's the worst part. Just like, how could I be this dumb?
Ryan Castle coming up. We will sit and spin. We've got 10 music moments people wish they could have seen live. Right after emails on our question. I never thought I would get hurt or sick doing blank. You are listening to The Men's Room.
New on Curiosity Stream, he allows them their riches
Putin has to be the richest of the rich.
in exchange for their loyalty.
The oligarchs have supported someone for president that they underestimate.
The illicit affair between Russia's elite and the man who rules them on Putin and the oligarchs. And World War II Normandy, an obscure battle training session takes a tragic turn. Uncover the one secret military catastrophe on the secret D-Day disaster. Watch now on Curiosity Stream. Annual plans are $20, just $1.67 a month. Visit curiositystream.com.
$20 million, $19 million, $6 million. These are all awards recovered for clients of Phillips Law Firm. To win big, you have to fight big. And Phillips Law has been fighting the too big to fail insurance industry for decades. Not every case will have a multi-million-dollar outcome, but Phillips Law will fight just as hard to recover the outcome you deserve. If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident or on the job, call or click today at 1-800-JUSTICE or visit justiceforyou.com.